Today we're going to wrap up our review of exponents by focusing on questions involving order of operations. As a quick reminder, you probably know what's called BEDMAS. So B is brackets, E is exponents, D is division, M is multiplication, A is addition, and S is subtraction. And then I want to point out too, sometimes people call it PEDMAS because they refer to the brackets as parentheses. Also, division multiplication, we say that's at the same level. What that means, you don't have to do division before you do multiplication. And then also addition, subtraction, they are also at the same level. So it's not like addition has to happen before subtraction. And what I always say, I would always just work from left to right, especially in terms of the same level. And then on the side, just to clarify, if you had something like this, so minus 5 times 4 to the power 2, just to remind you that the number in front that's being multiplied, that's known as the coefficient. And then this power, we're talking about a base of 4 and an exponent of 2. So example 1, I've already kind of color-coded to match what I have up here. So the yellow are all the coefficients, and then the blue are my powers. So when I'm looking at this, there's actually a multiplication happening right here, okay, but there's an exponent. So according to BEDMAS, I'm supposed to evaluate the exponent first. So 3 to the power 2 is like 3 times 3, which is 9. And then I still have that 5 there. And then now I'm allowed to go 5 times 9 to get a final answer of 45. Question B, same idea. There's a multiplication, then there's an exponent. So I'm going to go 6 to the power 3, which is 216. And then times that coefficient of negative 2. This will give me an answer of minus 432. One last one. Just be careful if you saw a random negative sign here. Remember that actually means there's like a negative 1, and then I could say times 9 to the power 2. Okay, so multiplication, exponent, according to BEDMAS, I have to do the exponent first. So 9 to the power 2 is 81, which just means I would get an answer of negative 81. Example 2 looks a little bit busier. We are going to evaluate each of the following. So question A, you have 3 squared minus 8 divided by 2 to the power 3 plus negative 4 to the power 2. Now, according to our BEDMAS, it does tell us to do brackets first, but when it's talking about brackets, I usually think about, is there a plus or minus happening? So do I need to clean up like plus some number, minus some number? So this actually is just a coefficient of negative 1. So I'm going to skip the brackets for a second and just focus in on my powers. So I'm going to evaluate this, and evaluate this, and then be careful. The 4 to the power 2, that's the power. So the negative is a coefficient in front. So I will get 9 minus 8 divided by 8 plus, this is not part of the power, so minus, maybe I think of it as minus 1 times 16. Next, I'm going to check if there's any multiplication division. So again, go left to right, subtraction, division, addition, and then I can clean this up after. So this is going to happen next. Okay, so I have to do the division next. So 8 divided by 8, I will get 1. The 9 stayed, the subtraction stayed, the addition stayed, and then I'm just going to clean this up and think of that as minus 16. Okay, well now I'm going to drop these brackets. So that's like 9 minus 1. When you add a negative, I could write that like minus 16, which just means I have two subtractions going on. Work left to right. 9 minus 1 is 8. If you subtract 16, you're going to get negative 8 as your final answer. Question B, I will notice that now I have brackets that I do need to worry about. So I'm going to clean up those brackets as well as these brackets first. So I will get minus 2 times negative 15 minus 3 squared is 9 plus 4 times 2 plus 3 is 5 to the power 3. So all I've done, I've just cleaned up this power, and then I went 2 plus 3 is 5. Okay, now I still have brackets going on, so my next step, I would clean this up, and then this actually is no longer technically brackets, right? That's actually become a power. So I'm going to leave it. I'll go negative 2 times negative 15 minus 9 is negative 24 plus 4 times 5 to the power 3. Now, once you get more comfortable with order of operation, you are more than welcome to apply a couple at the same time, as long as they're not dependent upon each other. So some people might have actually evaluated this, and that's okay. My next step, though, I will evaluate the power. So 5 cubed is like 125. Still have the 4, you put that in brackets. Still have this minus 24 and that minus 2. Okay, so now there's multiplication here, there's an addition, another multiplication. So clearly I'm going to have to clean these up next. So I have to multiply first. So I will get positive 48 plus 500. And then finally add those together, you would get a final answer of 548. So our last example, I want to rewrite as a single power and then evaluate. So I'll notice that I have base 2, base 2, base 2. So when it says a single power, I want to write it as base 2. So like 2 to the power of something. Okay, well, you're going to notice that there's a multiplication here, there's a division here, but you actually have power raised to a power. So I need to apply my power law first. So I'm going to clean up this piece, put that here, but then I have another power law in my denominator. So I'm going to clean up that as well. So this will just get rewritten. So I have 2 to the power 2 times, when you have a base raised to an exponent, raised to another exponent, that's your power law. So power law tells you to multiply those together. So I'll go 2 times 4 over, same idea, power law down here, 2 to the power of 3 times 2. So that's like 2 to the power 2 times 2 to the power 8 over 2 to the power 6. Okay, so I'm going to check, so there's multiplication, there's a division. What I would probably do next would be clean up my numerator before I divide. So I have the same base, I'm multiplying, my exponent laws tell me to add the exponents. So that's like 2 to the power of 2 plus 8. And then it's still all over 2 to the power 6. Well, that's going to be like having 2 to the power 10 over 2 to the power 6. So I'll just keep this all connected, put a rectangle around it. Okay, we are almost finished. Finally, division. When you have the same base and you divide, that is your quotient law that tells you to subtract your exponents. So this would be like having 2 to the power of 10 minus 6, which is like 2 to the power 4. Okay, and that's actually answered the first part. So rewrite as a single power. That is a single power. And then it says to evaluate. So 2 to the power 4, you could say, or you would get an answer of 16. Okay, so I'd like you guys to practice some of the following order of operation questions. There is a sheet titled Exponents 3. Again, same process. Check your answers as you go along, and when you're finished, let me know how it went. Smiley face, good to go. Neutral face, might need a little practice. and sad face if you need additional support. All right, have a good day.